Hey everyone, my name is Kelsey, and the first book that I'm going to talk to you about is called My Mom and Dad by Claudia Harrington. And all of the books that I'm going to be talking to you about can be found on Epic Books. If you're familiar with Epic and have used it, if not, I highly recommend it. My students absolutely love Epic. This book is for children ages 6 to 8, and it is a 2.2 reading level. This book is a story about a little boy named Lenny, and he goes to his friend Khan's house, and he learns that Khan's mother is from Japan and that his father is African American. And so this book is just about these two little boys and Lenny learning about Khan's family and their culture, and he just gets to see what a typical day is like at their house. He even gets to learn a Japanese word. He learns that the word kun means an old-fashioned way of saying you're a friend. And throughout the story, they're just hanging out. He even learns about a Japanese instrument. And so I think this book is just great for children to learn that, all families don't look the same, but at the end of the day, families are families no matter what they look like, no matter where they're from, and that families love each other. And so I think this was just a good lesson for children to learn that families don't always look the same, but that doesn't mean that they don't love each other just like any other family. And I think this is also great for children's curiosity because it shows how Lenny was very curious and took special interest in Khan's family. And you can see just kind of the joy that Khan's family had in teaching him about their culture. So a good activity for this book, a hands-on activity, would be for children to draw a picture of their family, and they could share about it with the class. And if they know anything about their family's culture or anything like that, they can draw it or paint it, whatever materials are available, and then share with the class and educate their classmates on their family and where their family is from. The second book that I chose is called The Barefoot Book of Children, and this book is by Tessa Strickland and Kate DePalma, and it is also for children ages 6 to 8. This book starts off, first of all, this picture with all these different eyes, and you can already see just the different colors, shapes, sizes, and it says, every morning millions of children open their eyes and start another day. And I know for me, I don't always stop and think about how other people live life, and just how people all over the world go about their daily routines completely different than I do, or the way that people do around here. And so I think this is great for children to learn and to realize that just everyday life around the world is often very different. And it's also a great read aloud. It has questions that the teacher can pause and ask students. It says, we are all somewhere. Where are you? What can you hear or smell, or what can you see, or hear or smell from where you are? So it appeals to their senses, and it gets the children involved, and the teacher can pause and give the children time to respond. But throughout this book, it pretty much just shows daily routines from people around the world. And at the end of the book, let me get to the page. Right here it says, every life is a story. It's easier to understand someone when you know their story. I think this is a great lesson for children to realize that it is easier to understand someone when you do know their story, you know more about them. So it teaches children to take interest in others and to be good listeners, and to hear other people's stories. And so a good activity for this would be, at the end, this is the very last page, it says, you are a part of the world. You are also a world all your own. This is where you belong. It teaches children a sense of belonging, and it says, what will happen in your story? So with that lingering question at the end, the teacher could have blank story strips similar to this, and have the children paint or draw just what their average day is like, them getting ready for school, and then them at school, what they do when they get home, what their family does, things that their families do together, and that they could draw their life story and then share that with the class. And there could also be a discussion, a time of comparing and contrasting. So I just thought that this book was great to really think about how people do life all around the world. The last book that I chose is called The Lemonade Ripple, A Sweet Story of Kindness and Charity. And this is by Paul Reichert, and it is also for children ages it's for 5 to 7. The other two were 6 to 8. But this is for children ages 5 to 7, so still for young children. And this book is great for teaching children how to treat others with physical differences. This book is about a little girl named Caroline, and she falls and gets hurt, and while she's at the hospital, she bumps into her friend Shannon, who has always been in a wheelchair, and she learns that Shannon's wheelchair is falling apart, it's making noises, it's really old, but her family cannot afford to get her another one. So Caroline comes up with all these great ideas to raise money to get Shannon a new wheelchair. And so she comes up with a lemonade stand, a doggy daycare, a car wash, a coin collection, and she really gets the community involved, and everyone works together, and at the very end, Shannon gets a new wheelchair. They've raised enough money. So I think this is a great lesson for children to learn how to treat others who might look differently than them, and how to also encourage others to help you when you're trying to show acts of kindness or trying to reach a goal. It shows how goals are met, and it shows how Caroline involved the community, which I thought was very cool. And an activity that would be great for this is, I thought this would be a great idea to incorporate math during a money unit. Is throughout the story, they're raising money, dollars and coins, and so this would be a great time to teach a character ed lesson and to also teach math, and children can count. Even they can use like the little plastic coins or the fake dollars and make out different amounts with the money that they are given. So I think this could be used across the curriculum. Reading, math, character ed, it talks about like the community and different aspects of the community, different helpers, things like that, like the hospital. And so I think this is just an all-around great book for young children, and for them to see how to treat others that might look differently from them, or who might have a physical difference in them. And so the first two books that I talked about are more about cultural differences, whereas this one does address physical differences. So I hope that these books are helpful to you, and hopefully you can use them one day. Thank you for watching.